When you think about epic battles, you probably imagine huge armies on a massive field. But what if I told you the most important war you'll ever be a part of is happening right now, inside your own body? Today, we're going to take a look at the incredible microscopic army that fights for you 24/7.
And that's not an exaggeration. Right this second, literally billions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi are trying to invade you. They're on your skin, in the air you breathe, everywhere. But don't worry, standing between you and all of that is your guardian, a perfectly evolved microscopic army. So to combat this constant threat, your body has this amazingly sophisticated, totally self-contained army. We're talking guards, soldiers, intelligence officers, even weapons factories. And they all have one single mission: keeping you alive and well.
Okay, so let's meet the cast of characters, the key players in this internal army. First up, we've got the macrophages. Think of them as the guards on patrol. Then you have the neutrophils, the heavy-duty backup. The dendritic cell is our intelligence officer. The helper T cell is the general, calling the shots. And finally, the B cell, which is basically a weapons factory. And trust me, we're about to see all of them in action.
Every war needs a spark, right? An inciting incident. Well, for our immune system, it can be something as simple as a tiny accident. Let's set the scene for the battle. So imagine you step on a rusty nail. Ouch. Your first line of defense, your skin, has just been breached. And this is the exact moment the local bacteria have been waiting for. They pour into the wound, and using your body's own resources, they start multiplying like crazy. We're talking doubling their numbers every 20 minutes. But they don't get a free pass for long. The first line of defense is on the scene almost immediately. Our guards, the mighty macrophages, are always patrolling the border regions of your body, and they are the first to engage the enemy. And these guards are, well, they're incredibly effective. A single macrophage is a hungry eating machine. It can devour up to 100 bacterial invaders all by itself. For most small cuts and scrapes, these guys are more than enough to handle the problem on their own. Their tactics, brutally efficient. They literally swallow intruders whole, trap them, and then just dissolve them with powerful enzymes. They also send out signals that cause a bit of inflammation. You know that slight swelling you see around a cut? That's not a bad sign. That's just the macrophages making the area a better battlefield for the good guys. But what happens when the bacteria are just multiplying too fast and the guards start getting overwhelmed? Well, they don't give up. Instead, they release these things called messenger proteins. It's like firing a chemical flare-up into the bloodstream, calling for urgent, heavy backup. And who answers the call? The neutrophils. These are the absolute shock troops of the immune system. They fight with such incredible fury that they actually kill healthy body cells in the process. They're so destructive, in fact, that they're programmed to commit suicide after just 5 days, just to make sure they don't cause too much damage to you. Okay, so if even these ferocious soldiers can't contain the invasion, the immune system has to shift its strategy. It moves away from just brute force to a highly specific, really intelligent, targeted response. This is where things get really clever. Meet the dendritic cell. You can think of it as the intelligence officer of the army. While that big battle is raging, the dendritic cell moves in, not to fight, but to gather information. It actually collects samples of the enemy, breaks them down into little pieces, and figures out exactly what kind of invader it's dealing with. And this is a really crucial decision. The dendritic cell analyzes the enemy's parts to figure out the nature of the threat. Is it a virus? Because that means we need to kill our own infected cells. Or is it bacteria, which needs a whole different kind of army? In our rusty nail scenario, the call goes out for the bacteria killers. So, armed with this vital intelligence, the dendritic cell travels for about a day to the nearest lymph node. Now, a lymph node is basically a military base where billions of highly specialized soldiers, the T cells, are just waiting to be activated. The dendritic cell's job now is to search through all of them to find the one specific T cell that is a perfect match for the specific invader. And when it finally finds that perfect match, boom! A massive chain reaction is triggered. The chosen one, our helper T cell, is activated, and it immediately starts to duplicate itself, making thousands and thousands of clones to build a brand new army designed specifically for this one enemy. This new army immediately splits up into different divisions. Some of them head straight to the battlefield to help out the troops already fighting. Others become what we call memory cells, and we'll get back to them because they are super important.
and a third group travels deeper into the lymph node for a very special mission.
And that mission is to activate our B cells. See, if the T cells are the generals, then the B cells, they're the weapons factories. Once a B cell is activated by its matching T cell, it also starts duplicating like crazy and begins churning out millions upon millions of tiny, highly specific weapons.
So, the intelligence has been gathered, the generals have been activated, and the weapons factories are running at full steam. The tide of this war is about to turn in a big, big way. The final phase of the battle is about to begin. But back at the wound, the situation is looking pretty grim. While all this activation was happening, the frontline soldiers, our macrophages and neutrophils, have been fighting a desperate holding action. They're dying, and the bacteria are starting to win, causing real damage. But then, help arrives. And it arrives in overwhelming force. We're not talking thousands, not even millions. We're talking billions of those specialized weapons made by the B cells. They're called antibodies, and they begin to flood the battlefield, saturating your entire body.
Antibodies are a total game changer. They swarm the invaders, latching on and completely neutralizing them. They stun the bacteria, basically rendering them helpless. They also act like little tags, making it incredibly easy for the macrophages to grab on and devour the enemy. All of a sudden, the fight becomes almost effortless for our side.
And just like that, the balance of power shifts completely and decisively. In a massive, coordinated effort, the infection is systematically wiped out. And once the battle is over and the signals of war fade away, most of the immune cells, having done their job, commit suicide. It's a really important step to conserve your body's energy.
But not all of them die. A select few of those specialized T cells and B cells remain.
These are the memory cells. Think of them as the veterans of this war. They will patrol your body for years, sometimes for the rest of your life. And if this specific enemy ever dares to show its face again, this memory army will recognize it instantly and wipe it out before you even feel a single symptom. That right there is immunity.
You know, what we've just witnessed is a massively simplified version of a system that is so complex, it's almost miraculous. It's a reminder that in every tiny thing, like a small cut, this process of stunning elegance unfolds inside of us. It kind of leaves you with a final thought. What other incredible invisible wars are being won inside you right at this very moment?